What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Weekend Roundup here on Touchline Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I put out every single week. Big weekend, obviously World Cup, Lionel Messi's Inter Miami debut. I will get to all of it. I'm going to start with the U.S. Women's National Team 3-0 win over Vietnam to start the World Cup. Before I talk about the game itself, I want to talk about the lineup. I'm going to say this once, I'm going to say it now, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind. The best version of this team has Julie Ertz playing as the number 6. This team has been trying to find somebody to replace Julie Ertz in that position since Julie Ertz left, and has struggled in the time since. I don't care if Julie Ertz is the best or second best center back on this team, and she very well may be. To me, there is no question where she is most valuable, and that is the number 6 position. She might be the singularly most valuable player on this team when she is in that holding midfield position. The only explanation I will buy as to why she played center back in this game is the thought process of, I want somebody with experience next to Naomi Girma as she makes her major tournament debut and plays her first World Cup game. There is value in having somebody there who has done this before, who has played in these major tournaments, just to kind of calm things down and not be as stressed out because Julie Ertz knows what she's doing in these situations. That I will buy if that was the reasoning for the way that lineup was put together by Vlatko Andonovski. Because the other part of this is your game to experiment. This is your theoretically easiest game in the group stage. If you don't trust Alana Cook to play in that game at center back, there is no reason for you to trust Alana Cook to play against the Netherlands, against Portugal in the knockout stage. And so I have to wonder if this is just what it's going to be. And if it is, I have some serious questions, and that is going to continue to be a talking point. Because to me, it is the story that is not getting discussed enough about this team, is the fact that Julie Ertz is back and still not playing in her best position in the team that she benefits the position that she benefits this team the most in. I don't see myself changing my mind on this. The best version of this team has her at the number 6. Whether she plays at the number 6 or center back could be the difference between this team winning the tournament and not. That is how strongly I feel about this. So we're going to have to wait and see if that was a one-time thing or if that is the center back pairing moving forward. As for the game itself, not too much to take away. Obviously, you expected the U.S. to dominate. That's what happened. Not necessarily on the scoreboard, which is the other story coming out of this game, the other talking point. That attack is still disjointed. You look at the goals this team has scored over the past couple years, a lot of them aren't on this roster, specifically Mal Swanson. Yeah, and also Katarina Macario would be another huge part of that attack that's not there. It's still just not good enough with the group of players that are out there. And Sophia Smith scored, 2 goals, involved in the third. Fantastic performance. She's spectacular. But there were too many bad decisions, and Sophia Smith was involved in that as well. Not getting the ball in quick enough, not seeing runners. And then, outside of the decision-making, there was obviously the lack of execution. Missed penalty. Haran missed a sitter. Megan Rapinoe missed a sitter. Which, maybe that comes in time. There's no need to freak out about this. But what this looked like to me was the same team over the past couple years that has struggled against the Spains, the Germanys, the Englands of the world. And that team has a chance at winning this tournament. But that team has lost more times than it's won against the best teams in the world. This is not a well-oiled machine right now. And it hasn't been since the Olympics. And I guess before that, because obviously the Olympics didn't go very well either. Can it get fixed? There is time. I'm not overly concerned. I'm just starting to wonder if this is the reality that needs to be accepted about this team right now. Is that the attack is just not going to live up to the names and the talent that is there on paper. And maybe they figure it out. There's plenty of time. But ultimately, what I came away from this first game with was there is nothing that I saw that alleviates any of the concerns about this team coming in, specifically with the struggles in attack. Because you can talk about the center back lack of depth and experience all you want. The issue this team has had is scoring goals. And you saw more examples of that in this Vietnam game. Maybe it was a one-off. We're going to have to wait and see. But that's really where I came away from this game, is that pretty much looked like the same team. And I don't know exactly what that means. It might be good enough to win this tournament. It might not. It's too early to tell exactly where that version of the team, if it doesn't change, falls in the hierarchy of this tournament. And then, of course, can't do a weekend roundup without mentioning what happened at Drive Pink Stadium. Lionel Messi makes his Inter Miami debut, scores a game winner in stoppage time off of a free kick. Incredible atmosphere, incredible scenes. It was just like Zlatan's entrance, one of those things you just can't script. And I have a very simple takeaway from this as well. That game is exactly what you should expect from the Inter Miami team the rest of this season. They weren't spectacular. They probably didn't deserve to win. They weren't even all that great with Messi on the field. Now, he was amazing to watch. He did Messi things. He gave them a spark and a creativity they didn't have without him on the field, because he's still a world-class player. But it's not like they had 4 clear-cut scoring chances where they should have scored 3 times with Messi on the field. They got a couple opportunities, but none of them I looked at and went, that should be a goal. He just made some things happen. They got some opportunities. They also conceded an equalizer about 10 minutes after he came onto the field. And he got his one moment, and he delivered, because he's going to do that because he's Messi. This is what the rest of the season is going to be, if you have to ask me, and I'm making a prediction. They're still not a great team. They're not going to scare the best teams in MLS. They might be good enough to do what they need to do to make the playoffs. I'm still not convinced of that either. And this game didn't make me more confident that they're going to go on some kind of incredible tear and get into the playoffs. But they're going to give you highlights. They are a much better team than they were a week ago. They're going to win some games. They are good. They are trending in the right direction. I do think ultimately this is going to work. To what degree is the big question. But this is not a team that you can just insert Sergio Busquets and Lionel Messi into, and all of a sudden they're one of the best teams in MLS. Now, it sounds like Gregory is coming back earlier than expected. Okay, now you're starting to talk about something that if they had more time, maybe they could have turned this around. I just think they need another transfer window. They need the sanctions to go away, all of those kind of things. But you better believe Messi's going to do Messi things, and he's going to deliver. It's going to look like this game. They weren't spectacular. They're going to win some, they're going to lose some. He's going to steal them points in games they don't deserve. And ultimately, if you have to ask me, they're going to come up short making the playoffs. And the stage is going to be set for this winter, what they do in the transfer window, and next season, when they're really going to be in business. But it was everything, if you're Apple, if you're MLS, you could possibly want. Maybe they do go on a run in Leagues Cup. That's the other interesting part of this, is they're in a good position to get out of this group. And obviously that slate is clean. You don't have to make up all this ground they have to in MLS. Maybe that's where this ultimately gets interesting, because they could win this tournament. These are the kind of things that you get the best player on the field in form, and that, Messi could carry them to this thing by himself. That I will consider as a possibility. I just don't see a dramatic overhaul of this team until the winter, though. But boy, is it going to be fun to watch. Lionel Messi is here. Expect more moments like the one we saw over the weekend in Miami. That is all for the weekend roundup. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.